The Last of the 20 by Joseph N. Wdowski. Cronies. With the sunrise, Miller knew it was time to get back on the move. Stepping outside the main north entrance, he looked at the golf course beyond the parking lot to his right. I had always wanted to try golf. He stated to 124. Why? It is merely a walk interrupted with hitting a ball with a stick. 124 did not understand why he would be interested in the sport. In the shelter, we had a golf course simulator. The scientists, military officers, and government officials used it often. They seemed to enjoy it greatly. Our training was too intense, so we never had the opportunity to try it. The course seemed very beautiful and relaxing to play on. I would love to try it. Perhaps I can before we leave here. Miller explained to the robot. A real golf course, not just a simulator. A round of golf couldn't hurt. Might even clear my head and stop the nightmares. That does not make any sense. Why would walking around a golf course and hitting a ball with a club into a hole clear your head? 124 was puzzled by Miller's fascination with wanting to play golf. Miller ignored the robot's comments and began crossing the parking lot to the golf club's clubhouse. They should have a pro shop in there. A pro shop. 124 followed him across the parking lot. Yeah, a pro shop. It should have golf balls, golf bags, and sets of clubs. Everything I need to play a round of golf. Facing 124,
Bless
you can be my caddy. I do not want to be your caddy. I am already carrying your backpack. 124 protested, still following Miller. As they reached the entrance of the clubhouse, Miller had a better look at the golf course. It was clear that after 25 years of not being maintained, Mother Nature had retaken the land. Not only had weeds and local shrubs overgrown the fairways and greens, oak, elm, birch, maple, and other types of native trees had already taken root on the course. Seeing the condition of the golf course, it was clear to him he would not be playing a round of golf anytime soon. He was 25 years too late. Miller shrugged. Might as well cut across and get back onto US1. It was a terrible idea, anyway. 124 added as he and Miller left the parking lot. Crossing what was once the tee-off for the first hole, they easily found themselves back on the Boston Post Road. Facing east, they restarted their trek to New Haven. They were making good time. The roads were mostly clear of traffic due to the fact when the virus first hit America, the authorities attempted to stop the spread by once again locking everything down. People were asked to stay in their homes. By noon they were in Greenwich, Connecticut. US1 had become West Putnam Avenue. To their left was the Greenwich Library. Miller decided to stop and take a break. You want to take out a book? Asked 124. You want to carry some books for me too? Miller walked up to the robot, opening his backpack that 124 was carrying for him, and took out a meal bar. He looked around and found on their right a small cement wall marking the entrance to an office building. Walking up to it, he unslung his rifle and leaned it against the wall. Taking off his helmet, he placed it atop the 3-foot-high wall. Sitting next to his helmet, he opened his meal pack and began to eat. You don't even offer me any. 124 quipped. You don't eat. True, but an offer would have still been nice. The robot replied, My apologies. Offering his partially eaten bar to the robot. Would you like some? I don't eat. 124 made a very odd mechanical laughing sound. Did you just laugh? Miller asked. It was funny. 124 mechanically giggled. It wasn't funny. A voice squawked from a nearby tree. Miller stood drawing his sidearm. He looked towards where the voice had come from. Show yourself. A large black bird flew out of the tree and landed before him. It looked like an American crow, but was twice the size. Unlike a crow, it had forward-looking eyes set in a white feathered face. The rest of the bird was covered in ink-black feathers. The bird looked at 124. You should never laugh at your own jokes, especially if the joke isn't funny. Best to let it die quickly. You talk. Miller kept his sidearm pointing at the bird. The bird looked at Miller. Yeah. So do you. It replied in its squawking voice. The bird was then joined by 6 more birds of his kind landing behind him. Miller was unsure if these large birds were a threat or not. Do you all talk? The first bird replied, Only I do. They don't, although they can understand me. The other birds began crowing, as if in agreement. Feeling they were not a threat, he holstered his sidearm. How? Born with the ability, I'm the only one that can. It answered, looking at the other crows behind him. They seem to like it that I can. How did you learn English? 124 asked. I learned from the molemen. We would often follow their hunting parties to pick up their scraps. I would listen in on their conversations. Molemen. Miller was concerned he had another type of mutant to worry about. Yeah, molemen. You don't know the molemen? The bird seemed surprised. They mostly hold up in the Connecticut Valley. They have dug homes into the hillsides. They are not mutants. Prune faces. Miller asked. Prune faces? Oh, you mean those things that come out at night? No, very different. They do not like each other. They will clash from time to time if they cross into each other's domains. Miller put on his helmet in order to have his helmet computer do a scan of the bird. A computer overlay bioscan of the bird appeared on his visor with life sign details. Do you have a name? 124 asked the bird. Harry. The bird squawked. I am MCS 124. He is Commander Miller of Reclaims Group 1. The robot introduced them to the bird and his followers. If you have been as far as the Connecticut Valley, have you seen anyone like me? Miller asked Harry, hoping that he had run into Reclaims Group 3. Well, you are clearly not a night walker, and you look nothing like a mole man. You don't have a leather jacket, and you're not very hairy. Harry answered, As for a family member, your clothes are completely different. You don't have droopy eyelids. And they have nothing like the things you carry. The family members? Miller asked. Yeah, they are actually the mutated children of the Nightwalkers. They look like you. Kind of. No wrinkles like the Nightwalkers, and they sleep at night and work on a farm. Well, they work sometimes. They are a very laid-back group. They're always smoking some leaves that smell funny. Mutated children. Well, nice meeting you. Harry suddenly spread his wings and took off with his group of followers close behind him. The way the other birds just followed Harry made Miller say out loud, Cronies.